story now. A Cape Town medical student among those stuck in Ukraine and hoping to get on a bus to Hungary. 20-year-old Huryn Velasker has been studying at a university in Ukraine for the past 3 years. She's appealing to government to assist stranded South Africans who have no means of getting out and coming back home. eNCA reporter Ayesha Ismail has been in contact with Velasker and brings us the latest on her story. Ayesha, good afternoon. You've spoken to Velasker from Cape Town. And what is she telling you about what's happening where she is in Ukraine? I mean, I interviewed one student last week, Friday, who was in Dnipro, and their concern is to get out. And what did you find out from the student you spoke to?
So, Dan, I spoke to Huryn Velasker yesterday afternoon, and she's in a place called Vinnytsia, and she's studying at the National Medical University there. And while I was talking to her, I could hear the sirens going off, and she was also sending me videos of the place where they have to go to in the basement at the university once they hear the sirens. She also said that while they were getting the support from their professors, she said there's no doubt that they were very scared, they're afraid, and all they want to do is to come home. And while I was talking to her, she was also telling me that there are other South African medical students that she was in contact with, and she was in contact with them through the South African ambassador there, and she tried to get them to get onto the bus with her to go to the border between Hungary and Ukraine. But she said most of them said, we'd love to get onto the bus, but what do we do once we get to the border? We do not have money to fly back to South Africa. And fortunately for Huryn Velasker, she managed to get onto a bus yesterday afternoon. It's a 12.5-hour journey. I'm told that she's still on the bus because there were lots of checks that needed to be done. But let's take a listen to what she had to say before she boarded the bus.
Okay, so we're leaving to Hungary, and we really hope that the government will try to get us out of there, because there are a whole lot of children stranded there. So I hope we don't have to wait too long in Hungary, obviously, because I don't know if the food and the stuff will be enough for all of us to survive over there. But hopefully we will try to get out of there soon. Anyways.
Well, there she was on her way. That was yesterday. Do you know, Ayesha, if she and others actually managed to get onto that bus that was supposedly on its way to Hungary?
So I spoke to her as she was about to board the bus to Hungary. She was very, very excited, although she was saying while she's excited, she's also anxious, because obviously they don't know what they're going to find at the border. And also judging from what we've been seeing from the visuals coming out from the various borders around Ukraine, where there are thousands of people waiting to leave. And of course, the Ukrainians are being prioritized. But let's take a listen to what she and another South African had to say while they were on that bus heading towards the border between Hungary and Ukraine.
Okay, so we're in the bus. This is Q, also from South Africa. Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa, from the Eastern Cape. I'm Tata.
Okay, so we're on our way to Hungary. It might take like about 12 hours to reach there, and we really hope that the embassy, the government will try to help us get out of it as soon as possible, because there are over thousands of students over there. So how do you feel?
I'm actually terrified, because I've been here ever since the war started, and it was quite chilled. But now I'm leaving the town, which I was comfortable in, going to another city, which is scary, but we'll see.
Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Love and prayers. See you guys.
Bye.
Not just leaving a city that you're comfortable in, but leaving a city to another country that you haven't been in will be pretty much anxiety-causing stuff, Ayesha, during a situation where there's war and so much uncertainty. But apparently there's a spirit of Ubuntu shown by our students. Tell me about that.
So as you say, it's very difficult, being a South African and going to study in another country. And these medical students were hoping to complete their education there and then to return to South Africa. Never did they think that they would be caught up in a war zone. But coming back to the spirit of Ubuntu, Huryn Velasker was telling me that on the first day of the war, they were told to stock up on groceries and food, etc. And now that they leaving the place where they've been staying for the past 3 years, they've decided that they were going to share some goodwill, because that's what we as South Africans do. When, despite the fact that we struggle, there's always an opportunity for us to help others. Let's take a listen to this.
Okay, so since we're leaving today, we actually had to stock up on groceries because of the first day of war. So they've asked us to stock up on the groceries. So now since we're leaving, I've put down all my groceries over here that I bought, which the Ukrainian people still can use. And I'm going to leave this note over here: all things are for free. I'm leaving Ukraine, so they can take whatever they want. And love from South Africa. So I'll be leaving the note here so that they can take whatever they need currently.
Now, finally, Ayesha, do you have any word whether Huryn and her colleagues managed to get to Hungary? Was the last time that you got in touch with her when they were getting on the bus, as we saw in the earlier bite? I mean, I'm asking this because things have escalated a bit since yesterday, and I don't know if communication is still as it was.
About 30 minutes ago, I got a WhatsApp message from her to say that they were about 50 kilometers away from the border. So I will be checking in with her later to see what the situation is there.
Yeah, especially because, as you correctly said, at the borders, from the reports we've been getting from other media, international media, they are giving preference or prioritizing Ukrainians. And if you are a man, you can't go through, according to Ukrainian government. You have to stay in Ukraine and fight in this war. We'll check in with you. I'm sure you'll give us an update later on here on the channel on eNCA. Thank you very much, Ayesha.